name's Lewis. I'm the athletic director here at I9 Sports. I've been here for just about 2 years now. That'll be December 2022 was my first month here at I9. And since then, we've just been trying to revamp and just make the programs and the information better for our athletes, our coaches, our parents, season in and season out. And this is just another example of that. And this is probably our fourth iteration of the parent coaches Q&A. So I really appreciate each and every one of you being here to experience it because we try to make this as fluid as possible. So that way your coaching experience and just your experience volunteering and being out there on the court with the kids is the best possible experience you can have. So as we jump in, quick, just, I don't want to say ground rules, but just what to expect on this call, right? I have a short presentation. It typically takes about 15 or 20 minutes to get through everything. It's going to walk through what kind of the expectations are with coaching, successful ways to be just a good coach, good volunteer out there. A big slide will be what to expect on opening day, as many of you are getting ready to be out there this coming weekend. Maybe you might be missing this weekend. Week 2 will be your first weekend. And so that slide will cover what to expect on opening day for everybody who's going to be out there this Saturday and Sunday. From there, we just kind of wrap up the presentation. As I mentioned, 15, 20 minutes is my goal. And then we'll have the Q&A portion. I will answer some of your questions during the presentation. So no worries there. What I ask everybody to do on these calls is there is a chat feature where you can type in your questions. I typically just ask that everybody just try to type their questions into the chat, either like right at the start or as we go on. Because once I finish the presentation, we'll roll into the Q&A, and it's a lot easier for me to just kind of go down the list of questions, right? That way I pretty much am able to cover the gist of what we're looking for and answer questions that way. But if we have to, we can dialogue as well as I go through, because each question has a name with it. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the presentation. I like to use the thumbs up icon at the bottom for the send the reaction. So that way I know everybody's paying attention. Everybody's good. Everybody can see the screen, hear me. Everybody's thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down if you're having any issues at all. Awesome. And I already recognize some names from our coach recruitment, but also just reaching out to people who have been willing to coach and whatnot. Raul, you raised your hand. Was that just kind of a thumbs up situation? You're all good? You're muted too.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
All right, awesome. Just making sure. All right, guys, let's all jump in and we're going to go from there. So I9 Sports Q&A, quick overview of the season itself, right? So this is one of our smaller seasons, as I mentioned. 5 weeks isn't really that small, but in the grand scheme of our normal seasons being 7 weeks long, this one's only 5 weeks. As many of you know, some of you that are new might not know, our practices come right before the game. So practice and games take place on the same day, whether you're doing a Saturday program or a Sunday program. If you have multiple kids playing or a child playing multiple sports across multiple days, your practice and game are still going to come on that same day. So whenever you're scheduled to be there, the first set of your session will be practice. The second set will be the game. The season starts this weekend. If you're at one of our Loudoun County venues, LCDS or Loudoun Country Day School, Leesburg Community Church, Evergreen, your season is going to run from November 9th to December 7th. For the Fairfax County venues, we have one venue that's taking place on Saturday and then a few that are taking place on Sunday. So the Fairfax County schedule is the weekends of the 9th and the 10th to the December 7th and 8th. So that's kind of what we're looking at with our schedules for the season. As it pertains to coaching, and I know some of you have already, maybe you're not on this call, but I've already spoken with some coaches. There's things going on, right? We got Thanksgiving in the season that happened on Thursday during one of the weeks. If for any reason, any of you cannot make a week or two or whatever it might be, send a message to us at the league office. And I'll cover this again at the end when I share both the league office email for Fairfax and for Loudoun. But if anybody needs to miss a week or you're going to be out, you're sick, something came up, shoot us an email at the league office. We do our very best to get through the entire email every day. And so we're constantly fielding all the inquiries that you guys have, questions, registrations, whatnot. But I always get the coaches' emails. And then we have a coaches sheet that we share with all of our staff on what coaches aren't going to be there that week, and what teams might need our staff specifically to be ready to jump in before anybody even shows up. So that's the schedule. That's kind of the commitment. It's 1 day a week, as we said, and just during your child's session. You're only coaching for your child's session, and that's all you need to worry about. Weather-related cancellations probably won't pertain to this, but if for whatever reason we have a freak snowstorm December 7th and get snowed out, we will update the weather hotline. This is talking about a lot of our fall outdoor programs with the rain, but staff will update the weather hotline, send out emails and texts for any cancellation. So always make sure just to give your email and your text a once over at the end of the week before we jump into the weekend, and before you head to the venue, just in case any information comes out. That's the quick overview of the season and what to expect. Now we're going to jump into more the philosophy of what I-9 is all about. As many of you know, we are a recreational-based program. It's a fun-focused atmosphere. We are very focused on sportsmanship. We do keep score, and we do have a progressive element to our leagues from the youngest age groups to our oldest age groups. But at the very base foundational principles of what we're looking for, fun, inclusivity, safety, convenience, respect, and organization are some of the key points of what we want to take place during our programs and for our coaches to help execute, right? The primary reason the kids are out there and the primary reason you all signed your kids up to play youth sports is for what? Fun, right? You want your kids to have fun, learn the basic foundational principles of the sport, meet new friends, be around role models or, adults that, are working with kids and just looking to provide a fun, safe environment for them to come out and play indoor soccer, basketball, volleyball, right? Same can be said with the inclusivity, right? One of our sportsmanship values each season is inclusivity. It's super important that the kids understand that it's about everybody on the team, right? We're not an AAU program. We're not looking for the star athlete to take over the game and everybody else take a back seat, right? This is an inclusive sports program where no child is excluded, right? We don't have tryouts. We don't have evaluations, and we're setting kids based on how well they perform during evaluations. It's an inclusive environment. We try to balance the teams as best as we can before the season starts, and we want to provide that for the athletes. Safety is another big thing. Our staff are trained both virtually and in person as we head into the season, right? On how to work during practice, how to work with you guys during practice, how to ref during the game, what to look out from a safety standpoint. And then we're also working with all of our parent coaches to get background checked, right? We want to make sure we have great volunteers that should be out there working with the kids. And so safety is a paramount thing that we focus on as well. I already mentioned the convenient factor with the games and practices. Next, we have the organization. For those that have never coached with us before, maybe you've coached with CYO or Vienna Youth or whoever else you might have been with previously, we provide structured practice plans and game rules to all of our coaches. If you guys ever have any issues accessing that, you can reach out to us. We also send them out once a week on either Thursday or Friday, depending on what day your program is. If it's a Saturday program, those go out on Thursday. If it's a Sunday program, they go out on Friday. That way you have a day or two to look them over before we get to the practice date. You can also easily access that stuff on the I9 Sports website on the coach dashboard. I'll touch on that in a little bit towards the end, but it's right on the coaches tab at the top. When you log in, you'll have a coach dashboard as well, where you can access a lot of these same practice plans and game rules that we're talking about right now. And then last but not least, the respect factor, right? Everybody deserves respect, from the kid who's never played a day in his life or her life up to the superstar athlete. Every coach deserves respect, both from the athletes, the parents, and the staff. And our refs and our staff deserve respect, right? That's what we want, a very respectful environment of everybody. It is sports, right? At the end of the day, we're playing sports, it's youth sports, and there's going to be a competitive element to it. But we just ask that everybody keeps that in mind as we're trying to have a fun, awesome time this season coming up. The next page we have is just a little quick what makes a good coach or what makes a great coach in this aspect. I've been, like I said, an athletic director here for 2 years now, and I've had the privilege of being able to coach a few teams because my family's played in the league. I've been coaching in a variety of ways since, I was in college. I love coaching. I'm by no means an expert at all. I've only ever really played baseball, and I didn't play at that high of a level. But being out there and working with the kids and just trying to be a good role model is something that I really strive for. So I do my best to provide that experience. And I-9 affords that individual that might be like me, that is really passionate about just working with kids, the easy, fun way to coach, right? So remember, this is a game and we want the kids to have fun. I can't stress that enough. When you're out there on the weekends, just bring the enthusiasm, right? Be ready to have fun, bring that smile, be ready to dole out those high fives and encourage the kids. I mean, that is truly what sets the tone here at I-9. It's not that Raul is the assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs NBA team, right? It's that Raul is out there and he's just excited to work with the kids, and he puts on that red coach's shirt, and to the kids, that's Coach Raul, right? Or Coach Lewis or Coach Carson, right? Whoever it might be, that red shirt sets you apart. Just bring that enthusiasm, bring that confidence, because that's really what we're trying to do, is have fun and be enthusiastic out there. Now, you may be wondering, right? It's not just all about having fun and just being enthusiastic. That's not going to get us through a full practice, right? That's where our staff comes in. That's where our practice plans come in. Who here has coached with I-9 Sports before? Give me a thumbs up if you've coached with I-9 Sports before. Thumbs down if you haven't. Nice. So lots of new coaches that haven't coached with us before. And that's totally fine. We have practice plans for you to follow week in and week out. Of those that are on this call, that have been assigned to your team, been cleared, you did your background check, how many of you had a chance to check out the practice plan on the I-9 Sports website? Thumbs down if you haven't, thumbs up if you have. Okay, awesome. So lots of thumbs up, right? Truly, the practice plan is there to set the tone for the practice. Our staff are not only trained, but expected to know the weekly practice plans, so that way they can fluidly jump in and make sure everything's running right according to plan. If we're working with indoor soccer, we're working on dribbling through cones. We're working on controlling the soccer ball as we pass. If anybody's on this call that's a super peewee coach, red light, green light is a great game, but also activity that gets the kids working on controlling the soccer ball, dribbling in space, and just moving from one side of the court to the other. It's not an intensive activity, but it teaches the great fundamentals that we're trying to work on. So utilize the practice plan. If you ever have any questions about the practice plan, our staff is on site, as I mentioned, to help throughout the practices. They're going to be jumping in, and it's no offense to any coach if our staff jumps in and helps you out, right? That's not meant to be like you're doing a terrible job. Our staff are paid, certified, and trained to be out there with you, right? So utilize the practice plan, utilize our staff out there, and just look at the plan before you show up, just so you have that baseline of the warm-up, activity 1, 2, maybe 3, and then that sportsmanship talk at the end of practice. Understand the I-9 Sports philosophy. What we just went over is a paramount thing to being a great coach. Staying calm and keeping your composure out there, as well as keeping the perspective on the bigger picture, right? We're out here to have fun. We want the kids to enjoy this activity, because whether they're 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, this might be their first experience with athletics. This might be their first experience with sports. Even if they do start at 11, that's okay. Kids will start at 11 and play till they're 18, 19, or into their adult years, right? Sports is such an integral part, and we want every kid that's out there to have a good time. And if they do fall in love with the game, great. That's what we're trying to make happen. And then last but not least, for being a great coach, once we jump into the game portion of the session, is making sure everybody gets equal playing time, right? Making sure the kids are rotating through the positions. The defensive players are getting a chance to play offense. Offensive players are playing a little bit of defense. In volleyball, everybody rotates anyway. It's really difficult to not get somebody equal playing time, but volleyball, we just rotate in a circle. And then in basketball, rotating the kids in and out, letting different kids bring the ball up the court, etc. So we've got just covered the philosophy of I-9 and just what makes a great coach and just some of the benchmarks that we're looking for, and that I want to encourage you guys to think about as you jump out there this weekend, right? I know everybody here is excited to be working this season, right? Everybody's excited to be volunteering. Let me get a thumbs up if everybody's excited to be out there. Thumbs down if you're not so excited, you're still pumped to be out there, but you're a little nervous maybe. I see a lot of thumbs up, some celebrations, which I love. And I'm sure maybe we have one or two people on this call or a handful of coaches that are nervous, right? I want to try to eliminate that. That's what we're trying to do with these additional resources that we're providing. The coaches Q&A, which we had never really done for quite a few years before I got here, and we started it about a year ago. The other thing too is our phone service, where we're able to contact and work with the coaches via text message to try to meet you guys where you're at, right? Everybody here is a busy person, right? You've got work during the day, you've got this going on, you've got a family to raise. And so we're trying to meet our coaches wherever we can to make sure they're at ease. So adding that texting element where we can answer questions and be readily available to you guys is important as well. So yeah, we're just trying to make this the best experience possible. So I'm really excited. Everybody's enthusiastic and ready for this weekend. Next, we have the coach's responsibilities, right? What is your responsibility as a coach? We've kind of gone over a little bit with the philosophy and what makes a great coach. Some of that speaks to those like responsibilities, but really it's these bullet points, right? Abiding by the I-9 sports philosophy. So understanding it and just following through with it, right? The next coaching responsibility, and this one is a big one for opening day weekend. And if you're not able to be there opening day weekend, you're coming week 2 as your first day. It's a big one for that one too. Just introduce yourself to your team. When you show up at the court, or better yet, ahead of time, you can shoot them a message through the portal on I-9 Sports on your coach's dashboard, where you can just shoot a message to the team, introducing yourself, and just letting them know you're excited to work with the team this season. Definitely introduce yourself week 1. That's when you're going to get your jersey bags. And I'll go over, as I mentioned, what to expect week 1. But definitely introduce yourself to the team and get them introducing each other, right? It's our job as coaches when we're out there, if I'm out there, it's our job to get the team to be a team, right? That's the goal here. We could pay the highest profile coaches in the world to come out and give just clinical instruction. What we're trying to provide is a team environment where the kids can come together, have fun, and have that team. So just make sure that we're having everybody introduce themselves week 1. The next couple of things are super simple and just something that you'll get in the habit of once you're there week 1. But wearing your coach's shirt every week, which all coaches receive their coach's shirt week 1 at the venue with the with your coach's bag. Make sure you arrive on time for your session. Week 1, I recommend arriving a little bit early, maybe a couple minutes, just to make sure you're there early. You check yourself in and you get your coach's bag. The next thing, as I mentioned, is the check-in process. Every week, you'll check your name off on the coach's check-in sheet at the I-9 Sports table. I know many of you haven't coached with us before, and that's okay. When you show up at your venue and you walk through the doors into, the gym or the school, wherever you're playing, there'll be a red I-9 Sports table. That is the first place you want to go. They'll have your jersey bags. They'll have the coach check-in sheet for you to check off. They'll have the sportsmanship medals or sportsmanship stickers, depending on the age group you're with. And our staff will be there to welcome you in on day 1, right? So make sure you check in with an I-9 Sports staff. You're a new coach this season, and they're going to get you taken care of 100%. Next, we have presenting the weekly sportsmanship value or the weekly value sportsmanship medal. I will cover that slide at the end, but every week we hand out sportsmanship medals or stickers. Depending on how many kids you have on your team, you might hand out multiple in a given week. But again, I'll cover that at one of the next slides. Last but not least, sorry. If I could get this to, okay. Staying calm, right? Staying calm under pressure out there, even when some of your other parents on the team, maybe you don't know them, their kids are just playing on your child's team. When they might not be calm, we have to be calm, right? We want our coaches to become our staff. I train them to be calm under pressure, be calm when, maybe they might have gotten a call wrong. I don't want our staff to be combative, and we own it if we make a mistake, if we miss a call. And I just ask that the coaches understand that our refs are human. They're 16, 17, 18, all the way up to 30 and 40-year-olds. We have a wide array of staff that are looking to get involved with the youth, just like you guys are, and give back, and also ref the sports that they love, right? And they're human, and they're going to make a mistake. So we want to make sure everybody's staying calm at the venue throughout the session, right? At practice, in the game, at the end of the game, regardless of the outcome, regardless of the score. Next, as you guys already saw, kind of touch on or hit the slide forward one. Now we're going to get into the opening day expectations, what to expect. So everybody here is ready to go, and we're making great time. I only have a couple more slides to get through, and then we'll do the questions. And for those that jumped on late, if you do have any questions, you can type them in the chat. I don't know if anybody's been throwing any questions in there, or you can wait till the end to type them in the chat. But that's how we're going to do the question Q&A part. Is through the chat feature where you can type out your questions. That always makes things move a little bit easier. Now, what to expect on opening day. I know there's a lot of bullet points. It may seem like a lot. Some of this is going to be redundant, but my goal with this slide is to walk you through what to expect, right? So hypothetically speaking, I'm going to use Jane Doe. She's a volleyball coach. She's going to get her daughter and her son together. They're going to go out and they're going to play volleyball this Saturday at Loudon Country Day School. So she is going to be one of our coaches. She got picked to volunteer, or actually she volunteered herself when we were calling to find out if anybody was interested in coaching. She said she would. And so she's going to get ready to show up Saturday, right? Her practice session starts at 9 and her session ends at 10:15. So she's got an hour 15 session, a practice, and then a game. She's going to get her family ready, and they're going to get to the venue 5 minutes early. She's going to show up. Our volleyball staff instructor, Simone, is going to be there greeting the coaches as they come in. She's going to be hanging out at the I-9 Sports table, making sure everybody knows exactly who they're checking in with when they get there. Coach Jane showed up early, so she's going to head to the table, and she's going to go ahead and check herself in on the coach check-in sheet. She's going to find her name and check the box next to her name on the coach check-in sheet. A couple important things about the coach check-in sheet, if you didn't already look at your schedule before heading to the venue, it's going to have your practice area, your game area, the sportsmanship value for the week, and what color jersey your team is supposed to be wearing. Typically, we don't have too many issues with families and parents and coaches not knowing that information, but that's just another handy way at the venue. We're able to provide that additional information to the coaches, the families, should they need it, right? So Jane heads there. She heads to the I-9 Sports table. She checks herself in. And then Simone is going to make sure she gets everything that she needs. And what she needs for that day's training session for volleyball, 7 to 9-year-olds, is she needs her jersey bag. She needs her roster, because the rosters that are sent to the venue are sent a couple days prior to the first day, because we try to get everything delivered all to the venues ahead of time. There might be some roster changes. So while that is our most up-to-date printed roster, your roster online may look a little different than that roster even there. That's okay if you have anybody show up to your team and say, hey, I'm with you on the Zoom, and you look at your roster sheet and you don't have them. Just let Simone know, hey, Simone, I've got little Billy over here, and he said he's on the team. I don't have him on the printed roster you gave me. Can you just talk to your team and confirm that he's supposed to be on my team today? And normally what happens there is she'll send me a message through our staffing app, our staffing portal, and we'll be able to make sure that either Billy is supposed to be on that team or Billy's supposed to be on a different team, and we'll get that person in the right direction. So that's important. That's why it's so important that you get a roster and your jersey bag, not just your jersey bag. Next, she'll make sure you get she's going to make sure Coach Jane gets her sportsmanship medal for the day. The sportsmanship value for week 1 is enthusiasm, and Coach Jane is going to be handing out that sportsmanship medal at the end of the session to whoever showed the most enthusiasm during that day. After she gets all of that stuff, she's going to head to her practice court. On her sheet, she has 1B as her practice court. She's going to find the sign on the wall that says 1B, and that's where she's going to go and hang out. She's going to open up the jersey bag and find her red coach's shirt, and she's going to put that on immediately. That way the team knows, hey, that's one of our coaches. We're going to head over there and just go ahead and meet one of our volunteer coaches. She's going to introduce herself to the kids while they're heading in, and that roster gives her the jersey sizes for each kid so she can hand out the appropriate jersey. We do our very best to make sure to have extra jerseys on site in all different sizes, just in case a jersey is too small or too big for an athlete. So if you do have any issues with jersey sizes or more kids than jerseys, go ahead, just let Simone know, and she'll get you guys your jersey at the venue, right? She'd do the same thing for Coach Jane. Last but not least, as we're waiting to start the session, because Coach Jane got there 5 minutes early, so we still got a few minutes before practice starts. So as the kids are walking in, she's doing a quick name game, right? She's got them circled up, and she's introducing herself and getting the kids to introduce themselves to each other, going around the circle, right? As new kids show up, introducing them. At 9 o'clock, Simone is going to blow the whistle and start to get the teams into the areas that they need to be, right? Simone's going to blow the whistle, welcome everybody in, and let everybody know, hey, we're going to go ahead and get practice started in a couple minutes. I need the teams in their correct area. Parents, let's go ahead and head to the side so our coaches and our players can start and get to know each other. We're going to start with a quick warm-up, right? Then Simone's going to take a quick pulse of the venue, make sure everybody's pretty much where they need to be. Then she's going to kick the session off with a warm-up, right? So she is actually going to lead the warm-up, have everybody go through a couple different warm-ups, Frankensteins, maybe shuffles and volleyball, maybe some arm swings, and then jumping into the first drill. Coach Simone's one of our great veteran staff, and she does a great job leading the practice. And this is where it is important for you guys to know the practice plan ahead of time, but also just be able to work with our staff, right? So Coach Simone is going to lead the first week of volleyball. Typically with our volleyball venues, our staff leads the drill. And what that means is she is going to demonstrate what the drill is that we're going to be doing. And then our parent coaches, Coach Jane and everyone else who might be on site that day, is going to help execute that drill, which means tossing the volleyball up and having the kids bump the ball back to them when they're doing the bumping drill in the correct form that they're supposed to be doing it, right? And then Coach Simone's going around and jumping in, helping to toss volleyballs, helping to correct form. Our parent coaches are there as well, helping to correct form in the little ways that they see it needed, right? Because some kids might take to the drills right away. That's practice. We're going to do 3 different drills in volleyball specifically. Coach Jane has to work through bumping, setting, and then we always finish volleyball practice with serves before jumping into the game. That is the practice. It's a warm-up, 3 drills, and then we're jumping into the game. Coach Simone will have her whistle and will be leading the session as well as keeping track of time. So you don't have to worry about keeping track of your own time. She is going to be blowing her whistle. So Coach Jane knows we got a few minutes until we're about to hop into the game, or when we need to take a water break, she'll be able to blow that whistle and let everybody know. Then we're hopping into our games. Week 1, we don't keep score. It's a scrimmage for every sport. So it doesn't matter what sport you guys are coaching. It will be a scrimmage week 1, whether it's basketball, volleyball, or indoor soccer. Our staff will be keeping score themselves as a training mechanism to prepare for week 2. So while they might have their notebook out on them, or they might be utilizing their phone to keep score in an app, don't worry about it. We're not keeping score. It's just our way of understanding what kind of the balance issues might be at venues, as well as getting our staff trained up and ready to go for week 2. After we finish the scrimmage, the game is going to end, and our coaches and our team is going to just huddle up and meet real quick. And that is where our coach, Coach Jane, is going to be able to hand out that sportsmanship medal, right? Throughout the session, enthusiasm is going to be on full display. It's week 1, right? So she is going to be looking for who exemplified it the most and hand out that sportsmanship medal, right? And I'm going to get to the sportsmanship medal process in a second. That is what to expect on opening day. Pretty clean and clear. Our staff are there to support. They're all going to be out there in blue I9 sports shirts, right? As you can see, this is Coach Jane in her red coach's shirt. Each and every one of you are going to get a coach's shirt. If you don't have a correct size in your bag, or there's one shirt and there's 2 coaches, or 3 coaches and there's 2 shirts, go to the Coach Simone or whoever the I9 sports staff person is and just let them know, hey, we need one more coach's shirt. Do you have an extra large or a small or a medium, whatever it might be, right? We want to make sure you all are comfortable in the shirt that you're wearing. So if we don't have the appropriate size or the correct size that you guys need, just let us know. We'll make sure that we either get it for the following week, or Coach Simone, in that instance, the I9 sports coach, will go and make sure she gets it from the coach's shirt bin at the venue. That is what to expect on opening day. If you have questions about that, We can throw them in the chat, or you can save them. I have only a couple, actually 1 or 2 more slides to get through, which really covers the sportsmanship values. And then we'll be able to open up the Q&A part. Sportsmanship values. This is a key, crucial element of our league, right? We're a fun-focused league. It's a recreational-based program, but we're very much centered on sportsmanship. And you're going to hear us talk about that all season long in the newsletters, at the venue, especially on closing day when we finish up our program. It's a culmination of our sportsmanship values throughout the season, right? And during our end of season talk with everybody, we cover it again. But this is a key element in the league, and the only way that we're able to really execute this element is with our staff, and most importantly with our volunteers, right? You all are going to be the ones that make this experience for the kids what it's going to be, right? As I mentioned, every week has a value, and week 1's value is enthusiasm. Every child is going to get a sportsmanship medal. So if Coach Jane is coaching a volleyball team with 10 kids and it's a 5-week season, Coach Jane needs to make sure she hands out 2 medals each week. So 2 kids are going to get the enthusiasm medal. As I mentioned, it is what you make of it. So if we have coaches that just take the medal, they're in the wrapper still, and they just toss them to the kids. All right, here you go, Billy and Cindy, you guys got the sportsmanship medal this week. You know, that's really all that it is to them. They're just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever this is, right? But the best way we see coaches go about it is when they open up the medal, they take it out of the wrapper, they get the kids in the huddle right at the end of the session. Hey, great job this week, guys. I really loved how hard you guys are working out there, and we're going to continue to get better. I'm going to get better as a coach. You guys are going to get better as athletes, and we're going to work each week to have fun and learn the different drills that we're working on. And I want to cover the sportsmanship value real quick, and I'm kind of giving you a rundown of exactly how you guys can do this at the end. This is how I do it with my team. Real quick, we're going to reiterate today's sportsmanship value was what? And then the kids are going to say enthusiasm, right? And then you might be like, all right, can anybody tell me and remind me what enthusiasm means? We went over it during practice. And they're going to say, oh, being excited for your teammate, or being excited about your teammate scoring a goal. Yes, exactly. Awesome. Today, I'm handing out 2 special medals for 2 players that exemplified enthusiasm the most today. And first up, we've got Cindy. And we're going to go ahead and put the medal on her neck, and everybody's going to clap real quick and get pumped. And then we're going to award Billy one, and everybody's going to clap and get pumped. And then we're going to bring everybody in and be, hey, this great work, everybody. Everybody was showing enthusiasm this week, and that's okay that only 2 people got it. Next week, we have another sportsmanship value that I'm going to share with you when we get here for practice, and 2 more medals are going to be given out. So I want you guys to think about that when we come out for next practice. Now we're going to bring everybody in. We're going to do all hands in. We're going to do a team name on 3, and then we're going to break and send everybody on their way, right? That's a quick way that you can go about awarding the sportsmanship medal. It's going to be what you make of it. So if you do that, that's going to be a memorable experience for them. That's going to be them understanding, oh, I got the sportsmanship medal for enthusiasm this week. That's awesome. Parents love it. You all love it. Obviously, you signed your kids up for this league. If you've never played with us before, this might be a new experience. But those that have played with us before know, sportsmanship is so important. As you see this little athlete right here, she's wearing her sportsmanship medal, looking up at her coach after a hard day's work on the basketball court, right? So make it the most that you can make it, and just be enthusiastic out there with the kids. Last but not least, as I mentioned earlier, we've got our question Q&A aspect coming up here in a second. But these are our league office email and phone number that you guys can reach out to. These email addresses will go directly to us. Our operations manager, our program manager, both are able to answer those, get back to our coaches or parents, whatever. You guys have probably received plenty of communication from our league office emails about current season info, maybe some marketing stuff for future seasons. Just any sort of league communication will come from those email addresses. And then those are the numbers to our customer service team that you can reach out to. We're readily available to help any coaches. If you guys have any questions or you need to go over anything, you can always email the league office. I'm happy to set up a phone call with any coaches that ever need to talk about strategy or practice plans, or if they have any questions, or if they're going to miss a week. This is the best way to get in touch with us, and then we can schedule a call so we can make sure everybody's taken care of.